What inappropriate thing did you do as a child that you didn't realize was inappropriate? I was about 4 or 5 years old and I was obsessed with Harry Potter. I watched every movie that was out at the time and even dressed up as Harry for Halloween. So this one day I was in a deli with my mom and a Muslim woman walks in wearing an abaya with a face covering as well. According to my mom, I got so scared and pointed at the lady and yelled pretty loud, "Mommy, it's a Dementor." To this day my mom still says it's the most embarrassing experience she's had. When I was a toddler, I licked a very dark-skinned black man because I thought he was chocolate. My mom was mortified, but the guy couldn't stop laughing. I cried. I used to play with this cup in the bath and drink water out of it for years, did it in the shower too as I got older. It had a handle on the end of it and I never knew why. One day I witnessed my mother use this cup in the toilet violently, and that was the moment I realized what a plunger was. Not me, but my sister used to lap her drinks up like a dog. Turns out she was calling this, doggy style. One time they forgot to bring her a straw at the restaurant we were in and she loudly screamed, "Guess I'll do it doggy style." Lamau, I think she was 7 or 8 at the time. Asking literally every obese person if they were pregnant. Even dudes? Yeah bro. I have an aunt who has one fixed eye, her right eye doesn't move. I think I was 4 or 5 back then. We were having a conversation and I asked her flat out, "Can you tell me which way you're looking at?" It's very confusing. Johnny Bravo greeted every woman he meet with, "Hey sexy mama" or something like that. That show was big when I was in kindergarten, ages 5 to 6, and I definitely said that to female classmates. I used to call those pigeons with the pointy tuft on their heads horny birds. I would yell it out so loudly too. My mom told me she had to look away every time I did it because it made her laugh until she cried. Obviously I wasn't told until later because I was only 5 at the time. Licked the titties on statues. Nobody ever told me. Was falling asleep one day and it just dawned on me and I was horrified. So when I was like 8 I would get ready for school in the morning in my room, which had 2 big windows in the side, not covered. I'd get undressed, then these people would walk by in our backyard, some neighbors or something like that, so I'd happily jump and wave to them through the window, butt naked. Yell I'm being violated because I thought it meant I was being made violent. When I was 6 or so, a friend and I borrowed his dad's Polaroid camera and we thought that it would be hilarious to take photos of our wieners. He had them in his cupboard for a while and sometimes we would take them out to laugh at until someone put that kind of thing in context and we quickly destroyed our accidental child porn stash and never spoke of it again. I apparently pointed at an overweight bald man whilst shopping with my dad and yelled, "Look daddy, it's Homer Simpson." I spelled cum as cum because that stupid sound shit out thing worked wrong. When I was 5 I wrote a story all about how me and my mom went shopping and she bought me a new sweatshirt. I didn't know why my teacher was laughing. I distinctly remember thinking, "What's so funny about my sweatshirt?" When I was in 5th grade we made a calendar to take home. We each had our picture taken and glued to cover and were allowed to decorate it and each of the following months however we chose. Being 10, nearly 11, there was so much that I didn't know about the world. What made it tick and more importantly, its history. Prior to the creative masterpiece that was unfolding in class, at home I had walked in on my dad watching a World War II documentary where they showed footage of the German regalia and, subsequently, their flags. Not knowing any better, I thought the windmill symbol was really cool and decided it should be on the cover of this calendar. One in each corner with my photo smack dab in the middle. No one said anything to me about it. It went through the lamination machine and was sent home with me. I wish I could have seen my teacher's reaction while she thought one of her students had skinheads for parents. I had a stuffed animal as a kid that was my favorite. It was a Red Bull and I carried it everywhere I went, but it took me a while to give it a name. I thought, well, it has horns, so what would a good name be? I named my stuffed animal Horny. Not me but my daughter. We live in a place where we don't see many people of different ethnicities but one day she saw a Muslim man with a beard dressed in the long white thing they wear, forgive my ignorance here, and she was convinced he was God. No idea why but she wouldn't leave the dude alone. She was 4, and started reeling off a Christmas list. Turns out Santa and God were mixed up too. Thankfully he found it funny. So in kindergarten we had these climbing poles. 2 friends and me were like humping the climbing pole because it made a funny feeling so 3 girls, 5 years old, humping the pole. We even showed it to our parents. I masturbated under a blanket while watching a movie with my parents in the room. The fricking courage I had back then. I thought that being fat was a good thing so I would compliment adults on that. I couldn't wrap my head why they weren't happy when I'd say that. I see you've cultivated a lot of mass, nice job my man. When I was a kid, the terminology I used to search for porn of people my own age must have set off every pedo trigger in the government. My poor uncle when I was using his PC 15 years ago. Never thought about that. I don't remember it but my mom said when I was really young we were out in public, and apparently I had never seen a black person before so I said to a black guy, "Did you paint your skin?" When I was about 7, My mom was friends with an Asian woman, probably in her early 40s, up the street that I had never met before, and one day she came to her house, and when I opened the door I yelled to my mom, "Mom, a Chinese lady is here for you." Now I'm 18 and realize that loudly announcing who is at your home by their race or nationality doesn't sound all that great. Grabbed people's butts to watch them squeal. Apparently kids aren't supposed to do that. My parents used to keep mini bottles of liquor in the fridge, the ones you'd find in hotel mini bar. We had to make our own lunches at times when mom and dad, busy with work in my first grade, decided to empty the bottles into the sink and put juice in them to bring to school. My parents got a call that day from school. Lol. Me and my opposite sex cousin played doctor after school. I don't think I need to say more. Edit, we were both the same age. Couple months apart. And this was around first grade. Had a friend who was a year older than me. One day he wanted me to suck his toes. So I did. It was gross and I never did it again. We were maybe 8 to 9? Edit, he was my only friend at the time and I really didn't want to lose him. He just kept on asking, so I did after a while. I found way better friends shortly after. When I saw black people I used to say, "What's up, dog?" We went to an Easter egg hunt at my mom's friend's place who we didn't see in a long time. When I saw her friend, I said, "Oh my god, you got old." My mom was really embarrassed and laughed it off, but I can see the pain in her eyes thinking back on it. I opened a door. It was the "Don't open this door except in case of an emergency" at the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum. Many sirens went off. Many guards came a-running. Much loud crying ensued from me, and many tears hit the floor. I was 5. When my younger sister was a young child, 3 years oldish, my mom taught her to refer to her private parts as her mini, which is a child-friendly term for it in the UK. One time my mom went shopping with my sister in her pram and the female checkout worker smiled at my sister. My sister then opened her legs wide and exclaimed, "I'm touching my mini," before placing her hands over her tights on the area. My mom apologized before quickly paying and hoping a hole in the earth would swallow her up to escape the embarrassment. I was holding my mom's hand on the right and an older male family friend's hand on the left and thought that holding their hands felt warm and good. So let's extend that feeling to them both and brought their hands together. Got scolded by my mom because she was so embarrassed. Also didn't understand then why my mom forbade me to sit and bounce on my dad's lap. Lol. I was a serious nudist as a child. My parents could never keep me in my clothes. My older sister would have her friends over who I had a crush on and I'd run outside butt naked to see them. There's a story that I still get teased about to this day of when my neighbor called my mom at work to tell her I was riding my big wheel across one of the busiest roads in town completely nude. When I was like 12, my mom was on probation and had to do community service. Still no idea why. I had pretty good cursive handwriting at the time and my mom made me forge her papers and sign her PO's name saying she was doing her service. Good times. Thanks for the memories, Mom. I said "make love not war" to my dad once, not realizing that make love meant fricking lamau. He stopped what he was doing and braced himself the kitchen counter and just went, "I'm sorry, what? You cannot say that to your dad." I had a good chuckle. Around 7 I asked my dad, "Is that a banana in your pocket or are you just happy to see me?" I don't know where I heard it, but it made people laugh. My dad did not laugh. I told a dude I'll sit on his lap because I didn't want to stand and the whole class stared at me. We were in 2nd grade. I once misheard some random song lyrics that were played at a festival, so I sang along and kept singing even when we left the festival. I sang Nazi, Nazi until my mom realized what I did and told me to be silent. I am Austrian. Called my mom a cunt. Had heard a kid at school say the word but didn't know what it meant. Was play fighting with mom same day at home and she called me a runt, reminded me of a word that rhymed, and the rest is history. Was probably 5 or 6. When I was about 3 years old I would constantly ask elderly people when they would die. In my mind I just wanted to make sure that if I ever had something important to tell them I'd do it by then. Never got a straight answer though. When I was being breastfed I was just learning my first language, which was Spanish. My mom said I picked it up pretty quickly, and when we would go to the supermarket in the summer and I saw women with lower cut shirts I would scream "Mommy, tetas," which is Spanish for mom. Tits. She was mortified every time. I don't remember how young I was, but I was still in single digits, but I ran out in front of all my dad's bandmates. Dropped my pants and shook my pee-pee yelling "sticky snake." Everyone thought it was hilarious, except my dad. When I was 5 to 7 I used to put my hand in a karate chop sort of way and swipe upwards between women's butt cheeks. A bit like an upwards card scanner, with my hand being the card and their butt cheeks being the scanner. My mom told me a funny story of when I was 3, my mom and dad bought a toy for them. They bought a boxer for my dad that was shaped like an elephant. Yes, the pee-pee goes there. Mostly for the silly aspect to it. It seems that 3-year-old me found the elephant boxer and used it as a hat. I was running around the house just screaming, "Grandma, I'm an elephant." Moom exclamation mark, look, I'm an elephant. I was looking through a magazine on a car ride with my parents and there was a black bar censoring a woman's hoo-hoos. So being the curious child I tried looking under the blackout as if it was some kind of pop-up book. My dad never let me live it down. Saying boner like 100 times. I just happened to like the word really. Thank you for watching the video, and don't forget to smash the like button if you enjoyed it.